Have you ever had a great idea in a meeting, but the second you opened your mouth, you felt like no one took you seriously? Maybe you said something like, "This might be dumb, but," or "I think maybe we could." If that's you, keep watching. Because today, we're fixing the exact phrases that are quietly killing your credibility. I'm Professor John, and this is Clear American English, where we help native and fluent speakers sound clearer, sharper, and more professional. Why weak language matters. Before we dive into the phrases, let's talk about why this matters. When you use weak language in meetings, you're not just being polite. You're signaling to everyone in the room that you don't fully believe in what you're saying. And if you don't believe it, why should they? Research shows that confident speakers are perceived as more competent, even when they're saying the exact same thing as someone who sounds uncertain. Think about it. Would you rather follow someone who says, "I think maybe we should try this," or someone who says, "Here's what I recommend"? Same idea, completely different impact. The good news? You don't need to change your ideas. You just need to change your words. And that starts with recognizing the phrases that are quietly undermining you. Weak phrase number 1. I think maybe. Let's start with one of the most common offenders. I think maybe. Here's how it sounds. I think maybe we should focus on the Q4 numbers. I think maybe this approach could work. What's wrong with this? Two things. First, I think immediately tells people this is just your opinion, not a recommendation. Second, maybe adds hesitation on top of that. It says, I'm not even sure about my own opinion. When you combine them, you sound like you're guessing. Here's the fix. Drop both. Just state your point. Instead of, I think maybe we should focus on Q4 numbers. Say, we should focus on Q4 numbers. Here's why. Or, if you want to soften it slightly without sounding weak, say, I recommend focusing on Q4 numbers. Here's the data. Notice the difference? You're not being aggressive. You're being direct. And in a meeting, directness reads as confidence. Weak phrase number 2. This might be dumb, but. Next up, this might be dumb, but. Or its cousin. This is probably a stupid question, but. Here's the thing. The second you say this, you've already told everyone in the room not to take you seriously. You're pre-apologizing for your own contribution. And I get it. You're trying to be humble. You don't want to sound arrogant. But there's a difference between humility and self-sabotage. When you say, this might be dumb, but what if we approached it differently? People remember the dumb part, not the idea. Here's the fix. Just ask the question, or share the idea. No disclaimer needed. Instead of, this might be dumb, but have we considered reaching out to the client directly? Say, have we considered reaching out to the client directly? Or, if you genuinely think it's a left-field idea, say, here's an alternative approach. What if we reached out to the client directly? You're framing it as a fresh perspective, not a dumb one. Big difference. Weak phrase number 3. Sorry to bother you, but. Now let's talk about the word sorry. Americans over-apologize. Constantly. Especially in professional settings. And especially women, but men do this too. Here's how it shows up in meetings. Sorry to interrupt, but I have a point. Sorry, can I just add something? Sorry to bother you with this, but. Here's the problem. When you apologize for contributing to a conversation you're supposed to be part of, you're signaling that your input is an inconvenience. And over time, people start to believe that. Here's the fix. Stop apologizing for doing your job. Instead of, sorry to interrupt, but I think we're missing something. Say, I'd like to add something here. Or even simpler, say, can I jump in? I think we're missing something. You're not being rude. You're being assertive. And in a meeting, assertiveness is expected, not aggressive. Now, there is a time to say sorry when you've actually done something wrong. If you're late, if you made a mistake, apologize. But don't apologize for existing in the conversation. Weak phrase number 4. Just. This one's sneaky because it's so small you probably don't even notice you're doing it. The word just. Here's how it shows up. I just wanted to follow up on this. I'm just checking in. I just think we should reconsider. Just is a minimizer. It makes your statement sound smaller, less important, less urgent. When you say, I just wanted to follow up, you're implying that your follow-up is minor, barely worth mentioning. But if you're bringing it up in a meeting, it's clearly important to you. Here's the fix. Delete just. See what happens. Instead of, I just wanted to share a quick update. Say, I wanted to share an update. Instead of, I just think we should revisit this. Say, I think we should revisit this. Same meaning, stronger delivery. That's it. Weak phrase number 5. Does that make sense? Here's one that drives me crazy. Does that make sense? You just explained something. You finished your point. And then you say, does that make sense? What you think you're saying is everyone following me. What people hear, I'm not sure I explained that well. Maybe I'm confusing. Did I mess that up? You're putting the responsibility on yourself for whether they understood, even if they weren't paying attention. Here's the fix. Flip it. Put the responsibility on the listener. Instead of, does that make sense? Say, does anyone have questions? Or, say, let me know if you need me to clarify anything. Or, if you want to be more direct. Say, any questions on that? This keeps you in control. You're offering to clarify, not apologizing for your explanation. What to say instead. All right, so we've covered what not to say. Now let's talk about what confident professionals do say in meetings. Here are 5 power phrases you can start using today. 1. Here's what I recommend. Not, I think maybe. A recommendation sounds decisive. 2. I'd like to add something. Not, sorry to interrupt. You're contributing, not intruding. 3. Let me clarify. Not, does that make sense? You're offering clarity, not questioning yourself. 4. Here's my perspective. Not, this might be dumb. Your perspective has value. 5. What's our next step? Not, what do you think we should do? Take ownership. Move things forward. Notice a pattern? Confident language is direct. It doesn't hedge. It doesn't apologize. It doesn't minimize. And here's the best part. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room. You just have to be clear. Practice challenge. All right, here's your challenge for this week. Pick one weak phrase from this video, just one, and commit to eliminating it from your meetings. If you say, I think maybe a lot, catch yourself. Replace it with, I recommend. If you over-apologize, stop saying sorry unless you've actually done something wrong. If you use just constantly, delete it. Start small. One phrase, 1 week, and watch how people respond differently. You'll notice it. I promise. Here's the truth. You already have good ideas. You already know your stuff. The goal isn't to change who you are. It's to make sure your language matches your competence. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to Clear American English. And drop a comment. What's your weak phrase? The one you know you need to stop saying? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.